Hello people, I decided to make another video pretty soon after the last one, even though I felt super tired after trying to make it. I want to go into way more depth on how you should be approaching PvP in how it is after the seasonal update. The main things I'll be talking about are how you should choose the heroes you are using, the impact of the new rivalry stats, positioning of heroes, how talent trees are ranked, and some more information. I won't be really going over a tier list in any of this, but I am considering making a tier list possibly before or after this video. Anyways, I hope this video can help a lot. I recommend that you actually put some of the stuff I say into practice. Good luck and enjoy the video. Let's start with the most blaring change to PvP, the addition of the rivalry stats Inspiration and Intimidation. If you do not already know, Inspiration increases all allies' healing, shield value, extra energy gains, and buff effects by 1% per point. Intimidation does the opposite by reducing enemies' healing effects, shield value, extra energy gains, and buff effects by 1% per point. From S plus to P1 and P2 to P3, you gain 4 Inspiration and Intimidation points. From P1 to P2 and P3 to P4, you gain 5 Inspiration and Intimidation points. For example, let's say you have 5 Paragon 1 heroes on your team, totaling at 20 Inspiration and 20 Intimidation. This will give you the 20% extra buffs and 20% to debuff the enemy heroes. If you were going against a team with 5 Paragon 3 heroes on it, it would total 65 Inspiration and 65 Intimidation. This will give the enemy 65% extra buffs and 65% to debuff your team. If you add your 20% and 20%, you get 40% to the team's 65% and 65% to get 130%. The enemy team's 130% Inspiration and Intimidation versus your 40% makes it a 90% buff for the enemy team, not accounting for the diminishing returns. So base 90% buff for the enemy team makes it nigh impossible to beat it. Even if you had an amazing comp and they were not using optimal units, it wouldn't even be close. Of course, there are diminishing returns and it would not be a total 90% difference, but it is still enough to entirely cripple anything you would want your team to do. If that was too much, just understand that the difference from a full Paragon 1 team and a full Paragon 3 team is 90% extra buffs. I stated earlier in favor of the Paragon 3 team, not accounting for diminishing returns. For some examples, this enemy team has P4 Fresto, P4 Talene, P4 Damien, P4 Smokey, and P4 Coco. Into this P4 team, I'm going to attempt to use P3 Vala onto the P4 Smokey, probably use a P3 Aaron. I will also use a P2 Fresto and a P2 Talene. Finally, I will be using Supreme plus Twins, as they have been recently added to finish this comp. Obviously, you can tell that the enemy team is not using any seasonal talent tree tiles, no seasonal artifacts, an awful base artifact, and pretty subpar positioning overall. Normally, this would put the enemy team at a huge disadvantage, no matter the fact that it's all P4s, as the team comp, positioning, and utilities makes it subpar. You can do the math yourself, but the enemy team has 180% of Inspiration and Intimidation in buffs and debuffs, while this team has 104% of Inspiration and Intimidation in buffs and debuffs. Sele and Hypos at P2 have 11 points into Intimidation and Inspiration, by the way, because their rivalry stats now start at Supreme Plus. This would mean that the enemy team has 76% more buffs, disregarding diminishing returns. As you could see, the comp didn't even stand a chance against the full P4 team simply because of the new rivalry stats. So this is the point I was trying to build up to. Even if you have in an amazing team comp, it can lose because of a massive Paragon difference. This makes it a struggle to successfully recommend any type of comp to anyone, because what is best for all of you can vary differently on what your hero box is looking like. It is important to know that more often than not, higher Ascension heroes will perform much better than lower Ascension heroes in any PvP game mode at this point. Of course, I will still recommend stuff that you could use to have a better chance in PvP, but for the most part, it can be a pretty big wallet check. Still, I wish you all can do well with this new season. Now, let's move on to some talk about the seasonal talent trees and how to use them in Supreme Arena. The two best tiles to use for PvP against actual players right now is first Wilder and then the Celestial and Hypogean tiles. The biggest issue right now is that it is early season and the Lightbearer talent tree is also extremely strong for AFK stages. At the very least, you should be investing into the Wilder tree when you can, as it is extremely dominant in PvP right now. You realistically want to put heroes such as maybe Paressa on the tile. You could also put Odie on the tile or put Arden on the tile, as they do amazing. You can put any mage or marksman there, to be honest, as long as they can be a decent enough carry and snowball. Using comps like Lily May, Arden, Iron, Thoran and Huan are great to use. Wilder comps now specialize with pretty much anything, but I would go a burst comp with 2 to 3 mage or marksman if possible, and a tank and warrior like Ulmus and Skalita. Celestial and Hypogean comps are also amazing this season, just like last. The energy gain that the tiles give is pretty great, and these comps will be dominating once again this season. Honestly, you could use pretty much any variety of comp for this tile. Store with the energy regen would be amazing. A comp with Talene and Frasto as the center of this could do wonders. I also run Coco behind the energy buff Pesto to ramp it up even more for this team. You can run heavy burst teams like Dianel Dunglinger and let Dianel ult as fast as possible due to this tile and a good team comp for his stacks. The twins on this tile can do pretty well, but as I said earlier on, you want to use heroes that are around the rest of your team in Ascension or around your enemy team. Still, for now, you should give Wilders your best bet and try the Celestial and Hypogean tree soon after. For now, I won't recommend any Lightbearer or Graveborn comps because Lightbearer defenses or attacks will 9 times out of 10 lose to any subpar Wilder team. I won't be recommending any Graveborn because you should not be building the Graveborn for any reason at the start of the season right now. One of the most important things I pay attention to when I'm picking heroes is how they benefit the team. When you are making a team composition, you should be thinking about what type of team you are trying to make. For example, when it comes to base arena, and you think of Tassi, Skalita, Damien, Fraisto, and Lily May, you should be thinking of a stall team. Or vice versa, when you think of a Burial, Florabelle, Cecia, Hodgkin, Fraisto team, which isn't good at all, you should be thinking of a Summoners team. Considering how your hero works and how they benefit your team is an important factor of playing PvP and will help you win more matches. Well, that'll be it for now. I will make more videos going into more depth about specific parts of PvP, but for now, I'll leave you at this. I recommend you work hard in making your own possible comps and try your best to build your own IQ for PvP in this upcoming season. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions for me, you can join the Discord that is in the description. The Discord is a popular AFK journey Discord, and we'd love to have you there with us. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.